This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Superfans, your weekly Chicago sports podcast where we talk all things Chicago. Today we have a fantastic show for you. We're going to be having a Patreon segment to start things off with one of our favorite patrons, Sam. We're going to be talking about the White Sox offseason deal so far. Made some major acquisitions and perhaps looking for a couple more pieces to add to the puzzle. Then we'll be moving over to the Chicago Bulls and the decade as a review. And then we'll be wrapping things up with our Chicago sports decade, favorable moments, and kind of, anything that sticks out from this last decade. A lot of reminiscing, a lot of nostalgia goggles this episode, guys. So strap in, it's going to be a fun one. Let's get things started, though. It's all about the White Sox this offseason in Chicago, thankfully. They're doing something right, it seems. We finally opened up that checkbook. We've made two major acquisitions since we've last talked, and we have acquired Dallas Keuchel, which is huge for the Sox because adds a valid starting pitcher to our rotation right at the top. And then we added Edwin Encarnacion as a power hitter, someone who we can have DH, add that bat, and keep the ball moving, keep the offense running. So, Sam, I want to toss it to you first. How do you feel about these two pickups?
Oh, super stoked. Super stoked. They pretty much got all my positional checklists, out the door.
What was that checklist?
Well, it was primary starting pitching, right field, DH, and, actually, they basically got 2 out of 3 as far as that, so, we're pretty much good to go as far as I'm concerned.
I say we did get Grandal as a catcher, who I know wasn't, super high on the needs list, but it was, it'd be nice to have a great catcher, who can add the bat. So I think that, pitcher, catcher, and a big bat on the bench, pretty good job. I think the big thing, landing someone with Dallas Keuchel's experience and I guess just consistency for me is big because this is a young rotation, and the guys we've got right now, we're going to have one guy coming back from Tommy John's. We're going to have a couple guys who've had a whole lot of inconsistency in their young careers, and then bringing Gio Gonzalez back to the White Sox. And I think that our rotation actually feels really good going forward. There are some talks about us trying to add some guys to fix up the back half of the bullpen, but outside of that, it feels like we're pretty much loaded for the season. And yet there's still rumors out there floating around us going after Puig or Castellanos.
Well, and that's the thing where it's first off, the moves that you guys have made so far.
Yeah.
I was a little upset with Dallas Keuchel because he listened to the podcast.
Yeah,
he knows. He should have known to, hey, guys, should my decision come out now? No, wait a little bit. Let Ricky sound like an idiot and say you're not going to sign till June.
We recorded a 30-minute segment on
Totally
Dallas Keuchel. 4 hours later, Dallas Keuchel signed with the White Sox.
I love how on Twitter I put, going to have to, I quoted it and had to say, we're going to cut the second segment. Spoiler alert. We were all wrong because Sean was like, he ain't going to sign with us.
Never going to sign.
I said he's not going to sign till June.
I was the one who was trying to be positive about it.
You were like, he is going to sign with the Sox. Let's go. And
I was trying to I was trying to be hopeful of him signing.
And here's the thing I like about the moves. Encarnacion is obviously, to me, a big positive because it's only a 1-year deal, so you're not locking down an old guy for more than 1 year.
He is old.
And he's a DH, but you need a DH. You need someone to fill that role. And I know that there's some people out there that are like, but we probably could have gotten a first baseman that fields the ball a little bit better than Jose Abreu. And then
we just locked up Jose Abreu.
Exactly.
He likes playing the field, and he's a locker room guy.
Exactly.
Sean's favorite thing is a locker room guy.
Exactly. So you can put... Go ahead, Sam.
The thing about Encarnacion I love is he loves to be the designated hitter, frankly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he is going to be great mentorship for some of our young bats, especially because he's going to. No, because it's sort of like if J.D. Martinez was actually on the market if he opted out of his deal from the Red Sox, because he would have been a match made in heaven. far as being our DH option, but this is a good secondary move. I mean, even just as a 1-year thing. Because the other thing is, we actually got someone who can go toe-to-toe with Nelson Cruz in Minnesota now.
Yes.
So it's like Minnesota is actually afraid of us at the moment with how much firepower this lineup could potentially be doing.
Non-White Sox fan here.
Yep.
Temper the expectations. We're not. Don't say that the Twins are scared of you when they're sitting at the top of the division.
We're coming for the playoffs, though.
But I do think that this White Sox team can compete, especially with what's going on with the Indians right now. They get rid of Kluber. There's rumors that they could move on from Lindor. If they move on from Lindor, they're not going to be 1 or 2 in the Central next year. But with the White Sox, the thing I like, you fill a need with the DH in Encarnacion. Sam, you're 110% right. He could be that veteran, much like I kind of want to say he could fit a similar role that David Ross had with the Cubs in the World Series run. Because David Ross in that year, he was John Lester's personal catcher.
And here's what I was going to say.
So he was doing work on the field, and he was helping out with the guys off the field.
And is Dallas Keuchel not our John Lester? Is that not every White Sox fan hope right now? Is it?
Yes and no.
Dallas Keuchel comes in. He is the guy who's going to help us get there. He's going to be the guy we can count on because he's kind of got that, been there, done that.
I'm going to say yes and no. The only reason why is the only difference is there was no question that John Lester is the Cubs' ace.
Yep.
In this situation, I think most people think of Lucas Giolito as the ace, and Keuchel is now the number 2 or number 3, depending on how you want to do rotation with. Do you want to mix it up righty, lefty, righty with Gio Gonzalez also being signed?
Gio's going to be at the back half, but
because right now ESPN has it listed out as the rotation is, Keuchel's a lefty also.
Yep.
But Giolito, Keuchel, Gonzalez, Ronaldo Lopez, and then Mike Kopech.
Yeah.
Is basically your blueprint of a rotation right now.
I think what it might be is Keuchel will be the guy we count on, even if Giolito has the better upside and the better, perhaps individual performances throughout the year. You might have a couple of those excellent games where he's throwing, the 12-plus strikeout games when he's just dealing. But I think Keuchel's the guy we count on if something gets serious.
Let's see. I'm thinking of ages right now. So let me do live math on a podcast.
Keuchel's 31.
30, 20. How old is Giolito? 29.
I think he's like 25-ish.
Cool. Because if he's around 25, 26.
He's 25.
Okay. Then how I would relate it to the Cubs, because you tried to do that, is...
why not? Trying to bring it back to what we have.
Keuchel is kind of like your Lester, then, the older veteran in that rotation. Your Giolitos could be your Kyle Hendricks. Where Kyle Hendricks, right now, he's 30. But when we were hitting our run in 2015, he was 26.
Young kid.
So,
Dealing.
Giolito can grow into what you need. Keuchel can be that veteran. The interesting thing that I think is the moves that could still happen for the White Sox. The two big ones you mentioned. Yasiel Puig, I think, is interesting because obviously that means to me that either you're going to have Luis Robert or Nomar Mazara. One of those two guys are getting the boot. I'm thinking it's more going to be Nomar because Puig's more of a corner outfielder and not a center fielder. And then with Nolan Arenado, if I say that name right, he's the most interesting one. Because if you trade for him, who are you giving up for him? And if you don't give up Tim Anderson or Jan Moncada to get him, you've got 3 guys who are third basemen. So what? You're going to have Nolan at the hot corner, Moncada then at shortstop, and then Tim Anderson moves to second? Sam, I'm going to ask you this. If you guys get Nolan from the Rockies, how would you match up Nolan, Jan, and then Tim Anderson? Where would they play for you on the field?
I would leave Timmy at shortstop, frankly, but I would sort of just switch, Moncada back to second, and I'd just let Nolan just write it out at third, like the stud guy he's been for the past couple of years, frankly.
Yeah.
So really, it's an easy move then. If you get, I always say his name wrong because I can't flip the
Arenado.
Arenado from the Rockies. It's just an easy move then. Moncada goes to second and he's at third.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think the final piece to the rebuild, as far as true contention, we got all these good mid-tier guys, but I still think we need that one superstar guy, you know? So it's like we either somehow pull off a very team-friendly deal to get Nolan from the Rockies, or we wait till next year and we go all in to get Mookie Betts with a max contract.
Here's the thing that I will warn you, though, is, and yet again, I'm talking about this from a Cubs standpoint, is with the Cubs, we didn't do you on your team, do you feel like you have the guys that can grow up, like a Eloy, like a Tim Anderson, like a Jan Moncada? Can these guys grow into that superstar role? For us, it was Chris Bryant, Rookie of the Year. That first year we made a run against the Mets in the NLCS. You look at Anthony Rizzo kind of growing up with this team. Really the big vet that we had was a Jason Hayward, where he wasn't the guy being the face of the team, but he was our big non-pitcher veteran in that locker room. And do you feel like you need to go out and get a guy like Mookie Betts, or could you get a guy like Arenado and have him fit more that Jason Hayward role rather than the, hey, we got to get the superstar now?
Sam, what do you think?
Totally. I mean, that's exactly, in a sense, what either of those two guys would be to this rebuild, because they both have plenty of, veteran experience at this point. And, of course, I would love to get Mookie out of the two, but, I mean, it's seriously, Mookie's been, he's got a couple bits of jewelry on there, so, he would definitely be, super awesome in that locker room next year if we could pull it off.
Yeah, he has an it factor to him, and I think the Sox front office has been looking for it. There's a reason we wanted Bryce Harper so hard. It was one of those situations where the big names don't come along often, where these guys are they're in their prime, and we can lock them down for a chunk of years. So I can see why we could want Mookie. I think, for me, I look at this Sox team as we don't necessarily need to address everything this offseason. I think if we were looking to make one more move, maybe. But I think for the most part, I'd love to see this team play out for part of the season, see where we're at, and go from there. Because you can always get bullpen pitching halfway through a season. That's not something that's ever a short. There's always guys who are available. A bad team not competing that they're good enough, they're an upgrade for us. We can address that mid-season. But really the expectations for me going into this year are let's go for the playoffs. This is a let's make the playoffs kind of year. I don't have any expectations beyond let's try to make the playoffs. Am I right or wrong in that?
Or at the least, I'm going to, Sam, before you jump in with that, or at least compete for it with the division. If they finish second in the Central, but barely miss out on the wild card, I think that's a success for the White Sox. What do you think, Sam?
Oh, we're taking the division crown. I want it.
Oh, he's calling it.
Sam's calling his shot.
Calling it.
I'll tell you why. So,
I was just going to ask why.
We were also, looking at Hyunjin Ryu as far as, between Keuchel. So, he went to Toronto. That indirectly helps out our divisional issues with Cleveland, actually. Here's why. Because the Dodgers have been woefully pathetic about getting anyone, period, who's a major superstar, or retaining their own like him, basically. So they are talking with Cleveland as far as Lindor, but recently they've been also inquiring about Clevenger because their pitching rotation has been just suddenly gaping wide open since Ryu left town. So here's the thing, though. They have the assets to pull off a king's ransom for both of those guys to move out to L.A.
Oh, if they... that sounds spicy, Ricky. How realistic is it that they could snag at least one of them?
So here's the thing I'm thinking about, and this is when it comes to the Sox moves. I think that there's a guy that we've already linked in the past, and when I say in the past, I mean in the last couple of months, that I think's a smarter move for the White Sox than what we're bringing up now, and that's Jock Peterson. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say that is if you look at the lineup right now the Sox would have, your infield would be Grandal's your catcher, Abreu's at first, second base is Nick Madrigal, which he's probably the weakest link of the infield because the entire other side is Timmy A at the shortstop position and Yan Moncada at the hot corner. Your outfield, though, to me, is suspect because you've got Eloy in left, Robert in center, and then Nomar Mazara, it's an A, in right. That's weak, especially your center and your right. So for me, if you can get a Yasiel Puig, boom, he becomes your right fielder. And for me, I feel like it would be more who of the White Sox. If they're going to make a trade for somebody, you don't need to make a trade for a starting pitcher. You don't need to make a trade for an infielder like Arenado would be. Make a trade for someone like Jock Peterson, who has what Sam was talking about, has that World Series pedigree with the LA Dodgers, and he's 27. He's entering that same thing as like Hayward was when we signed him over from the Cardinals. He was 28 when we signed him over. He's that older kind of veteran who's not going to outgrow this young youth. And then you can have an outfielder group where it's like, yeah, we have Madrigal at second right now, but we can get to that next year. And then you can have an outfield of Eloy in left, Puig in right, and Jock Peterson playing center.
Sounds pretty good to me.
On paper, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, if we were able to pull off Peterson, he probably wouldn't be that expensive given he's only got a year of control left. And I believe, they're positionally at that spot, they just got too many guys up the wazoo, so it's like they would just prefer to dump him. Mm-hmm. The thing is, I looked at Jock's overall stats the past couple of years. I mean, I would just, give him the big fat contract, as soon as he got here. We like your stuff. That's why we're getting you earlier than we should. Mm-hmm. And just, sign him to, a 5-year extension, which is, a big payday for him, but still pretty friendly for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that Arenado and Jock are different with, where Jock Peterson has this year, and then he's an unrestricted free agent, so you'd have to re-sign him, whereas, and it's goofy that how Spotrac has this. Okay, now it makes sense. So Arenado has an 8-year deal. However, the one hitch in it is that after 2021, it's got a player opt-out. So what he could do is, if you trade for Arenado, you would have him this year and next year. He would have the opportunity to opt out after 2021 if he wants to, but if he doesn't, you have him locked up till 2027. So you've got way more control with Arenado, but by the time you're getting to the end of it, let's say he opts in, he can opt out after 30, but if he opts in and stays, you're not getting rid of him unless it's trade until he's 36. So really, you're locked with him for his career unless you trade him. That's the whole thing with Arenado. It's more control, but
how much of that back half are you paying for up front?
Exactly. And also Arenado, because of that, might fit your little idea, Dave, where it's like, hey, if we're losing, and let's say we're not fighting for the playoffs in these next 2 years, Arenado, A, doesn't have to feel like he's stuck on this team, and we don't have to feel like, great, we're stuck with him while we're still losing, because let's say this year, next year it doesn't work, he could just opt out, and then it's like, okay, it didn't work, we're both washing our hands clean kind of thing. It wouldn't be a win for the White Sox, but it's not going to be like you're stuck with him until 2027, making $30 million, like between 25 and 30 million.
I get that
per year.
I'm hoping we're going to be in the contending side of things. I don't know if we go after him though. I think nail down one outfielder and let's hit the season. Let's see where we're at, and maybe if we're doing well, go ahead and swing at a reliever if we need one. But outside of that, like, I feel good about our rotation.
Yeah.
Our infield, like, you say Magical is our weak spot. I agree. Defensively, he's a weak spot,
but
he brings the bat.
Three,
He brings the bat, which is what we were hoping for. Like, we literally walked away from Yolmer, who, great fielder, but 250 is not going to cut it. I'm sorry. Like, you got to go glove. Great, good job. But we need someone to hit the ball on this team right now. So I think I agree with you. One outfielder would be great. If it is Puig, who we're heavily focusing on, reading multiple articles, I'd be okay with that. A little bit crazy, a little bit of whatever, but
do you think Puig's attitude?
No, we got 18 locker room guys on this team.
Because we got a lot of Cuban guys.
I was gonna say, like, legit, our team has the connection, so I'm not really worried about that at all. So
because like Puig, the one big thing. He's basically this generation's Manny Ramirez.
Yes.
Yeah, where it's Puig being Puig.
Incredibly productive, but most boneheaded moves I've ever seen.
Exactly.
So, no, I feel pretty good about the Sox going into this season. Sam, you're saying we're going to take the division, which is very bold, but I love it.
Well, this is my reasoning. Okay, so Detroit and Kansas City automatically out. They're dumpster fires.
Yep.
No arguments.
Totally. Thing is, Cleveland already got rid of Kluber for basically pennies on the dollar, and it was just a salary dump. But, well, they just got a lot more suckier just even without him. So, I mean, even if they don't move Lindor or Clevenger, I mean, they just got a lot damn weaker. And the other thing is, I mean, I don't know. They're just getting a bit older and the wiser, and I don't think they can exactly keep up as much as, like, the last couple of years, you know.
No.
All this postseason run is sort of starting to weigh on them.
Yeah.
And as far as Minnesota, I know they set up all this, like, dinger records last year with, like, Cruz and all those other guys, but some of those numbers have got to come back down to earth. I mean, they cannot be having the same types of offensive production like we saw last year, frankly.
It would be pretty unprecedented if they could do it again. And I'm with you that, like, they shouldn't be able to, but it's terrifying to think if they could.
And here's me. I'm going to be the realistic non-White Sox fan in the room, kind of to temper the flames a little bit. I'm going to disagree with you, Sam, that I don't think the White Sox win the division. I think you guys, if everything works out perfect this year, you're the number 2 in the AL Central. Because the two things that I can't help but think is, number one, you're right. The numbers for the Twins might come down a little bit this year, but you're saying, like, how many wins then do you think the Twins are going to have? Because most division leaders last year, all of them in the AL had over 100 wins. The Twins were the lowest at 101. Even if they don't break the 100 mark, you had Cleveland still got 93. You had the Rays were in second in their division with 96. You had the A's in second in their division with 97. So really, 90 wins is your mark to win the division. I think that this Twins team could still have between 90 to 93 wins. And then the question becomes the moves that you guys have made, just because we can't talk about what the Sox are going to do. It's the moves that you have made right now. Do you think that Keuchel and Encarnacion and Grandal, do they add 20 wins to this team?
Because and a healthy Kopech.
72 and a healthy Kopech. Do they add 72 or do they add 20 wins to this team? Because you would have to hit the 90 mark, I think, to win the Central.
I think it's going to be a very fun, entertaining, very close matchup with Minnesota and Cleveland, but I think we could pull out. I think the margin of victory for anybody taking it is going to be less than like 3-5 games, but I think we could pull out a couple miracle wins here and there, and we're going to be showing the world we finally arrived. I mean, Jerry spent like almost $200 million in free agency in the last 2 months. I mean, this is unprecedented from the old man at last. It's unprecedented.
True. Yeah, I mean, you don't see him open up the pocketbook much, which means he has faith in us, and I think faith in the team going far and hitting those expectations. So I think we've got a great window for competing for the playoffs and potentially making runs in the next 3-4 years if everything lines up right and everybody stays healthy. I think we've got a 3-4 year window where it's just sky's the limit as far as our future. I'm not saying we're going to win a World Series. I'm not saying we're going to whatever, but
if you guys make the playoffs this year, perfect, mission accomplished.
That's
mission
where
accomplished.
That's where I'm at.
And you could look at it this way too. It could just be a thing like 2015 for the Cubs, where it's just make it. Even if you're a wild card team, anything can happen. You get matched up with the right team in that wild card game. Let's say you get matched up with the A's. You beat the A's. Then it's okay, we get matched up now. Odds are you're probably going to get matched up with either the Yankees or the Astros in the NLDS, which would not be good. But let's say you win the wild card, you get matched up with the Twins. Let's say the Twins have the best record in the MLB, which I don't think will happen. Then anything's possible. You beat the Twins, you move on to the NLCS. I mean, that's exactly what happened to the Cubs.
Yeah.
We got lucky and got matched up against our own divisional rival rather than getting the Mets right out of the gates in the NLDS.
Yeah, I'm super hyped. Any final thoughts on the Sox, Sam? Anything that we haven't covered yet?
Well, I've always been one to be annoyed by their own moniker as far as being called the Pale Hose. You think the team needs a new, fun, catchy nickname to usher in this new era of contention that is soon to be upon us, frankly?
Is it because I'm not a White Sox fan that I've never heard that before? Have you heard that before, Dave?
Yes,
Pale
but
Hose?
not often.
Okay.
I don't hear it very often at all. I think about three times in my life.
I'm maybe because I'm not a Sox fan, but I've never heard that before.
No,
it's really archaic. I mean, it's 1950s, but I still see heavy Twitter mentionings of it here and there. But these are sort of my two current ones. I sort of came to a conclusion.
Okay.
The first one's somewhat Warcraft inspired, Iron Horde.
Okay.
Okay.
Or second one, this was actually, I forgot which one of the up-and-coming prospects, actually. I read it in one of their articles, but apparently he was a big fan of all the DC shows on the CW, and he said we should call ourselves the Legends of Tomorrow.
Actually, I like that one better than the...
Again, I'd be down for that.
Because a bunch of young kids?
Yeah. I mean, and again, coming out yesterday, that looks like there's an offer on the table for Lewis Robert getting an 8-year deal with us, who, again, Cuban phenom. Who doesn't love all these guys in our minor leaguers?
Yeah.
They're basing off the same deal that Eloy got. He played for us last year. And the minors look pretty good, so, outfield help on the way, maybe.
I'm pretty sure if my memory corrects or serves me right, you're welcome for Eloy. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he was in the Quintana deal. Huh. And he was one of our prospects that he was just never going to make it up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in our farm system. So a 5-tool player that we signed to a deal in July of 2013.
You guys had great scouting back then.
We do now. It's Theo.
Still just Theo. It's
Theo
all
and
Theo.
Jed know what to fucking do with these young guys. The only other thing I'm going to throw out is a little bit of research.
Sure.
The last team to win under 90 games and win their division, the 2015 Texas Rangers.
That was a battle, though.
It was a battle between them and the Astros. They were at 88, the Astros were at 86, and then the Angels were at 85.
Yeah, no, that shit was a bloodbath. And if the Indians give up Lindor, then...
That's some wins both... That could be wins both ways, though.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
We'll see. Anyway, let us know what you guys think about the White Sox season coming up. I think this offseason's been awesome, and I think it has a chance to even get pretty epic if we land a couple more names. I don't think we need them necessarily, but hey, I'm not going to say no up front. But thank you, Sam. It's been great having you on here, and we appreciate it. And moving on, we're coming up to our second topic of the day, and I absolutely love this topic, Ricky. This is one of my favorite parts of the year because it's like Christmas break. The Bulls haven't played a game in like 5 days. They're not going to play again until I think
they play as you are hearing this.
Yeah, as you're hearing this. So it's one of those situations where nothing's really changed, but it's a great time to go back and reflect. I almost choked there. It's a great time to go back and reflect on, the last decade. And I think it's kind of fun. A lot of people have been doing, decade lists because we're rolling out. The 2010s are over. And it's time for the 2020s, which is just a weird thing to say out loud. But we are going to give you the Bulls 2010s team, the best of 2010s team, which on paper, I'll be honest,
could win a title.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of these guys
has a chance.
A lot of these guys are on the team at the same exact time.
I know, but think about it this way. In their prime Bulls territory, we would have won a title with these guys.
There's a very good chance if they were all healthy.
Like, think about them
wink,
as...
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. As they were, like, in their prime on the Bulls, because one of them, we didn't get until he was older, but he still played very well.
He did. He did very much. All right. Enough stalling. Let's get down to business. At point guard for the 2010 Chicago Bulls, obviously, is Derrick Rose. There's one direction to go in, and that's it.
You're telling me Kobe White's not making the cut, man?
Kobe White did not make the cut.
Ronnie Bruja?
I love him. Captain Kirk was an honorable consideration.
DJ Augustine?
Marquise Teague? Yes. No, we're not dropping a little
Marquise Teague.
Awful player. It's there's only one option at the point guard position, I truly feel, for the Bulls. We've had several different point guards rotate through this team, but, it's really been Derrick Rose's team. And then as we transitioned away from Derrick Rose, we had a couple of filler guys.
Tell me it's not Rajon Rondo?
It's not Rajon Rondo.
Dave's like, I would like Rajon Rondo.
I like Rajon Rondo, but it's not Rajon Rondo. I'd like to give it to Kirk Hinrich as well. Honorable mention, but like it's not. It's not even close. Like there's a gap here, and it's massive. It's Derrick Rose and then everybody else. So I think that one, honestly, is super easy. Don't even worry about it. At the 2-guard position, Bulls shooting guard, couple guys up for this one. It's actually pretty close because of their time with the team and when it happened. But I truly believe it's Jimmy Butler's position to lose.
And we'll get into all of why we picked that after we listed. But yeah, Jimmy Butler, phenomenal.
Yep. At the 3, we're running back with our old guy, Luol Deng, collecting those paychecks till next year. I mean, he's just getting paid for days and days and days. Great player though. Love Luol. Always a hustler. At the 4, it's got to be Pau Gasol, and then the 5 it's Joe. I mean, player who had top 5 in the MVP running, top 5 in the Defensive Player of the Year running. Like he had a spectacular cap-off year. And he got old, and we let him go.
Who had a worse foul shot though? Was it Joakim or Omer Ashik?
Joakim Noah. There was never really hope that Joakim would. Yeah, that form.
For the audio listeners, it's like you're setting a volleyball.
Yeah,
you have it, and then the hands go.
But you're
up.
playing it forward. You're not going up.
Yeah,
you're forward.
It's straightforward.
Ugly. It's so ugly, Joe. if he had any shot at all, he'd be it.
And talk about someone who's still getting paid. He's still getting paid by the Knicks.
Thanks, Knicks. Yep. Joakim Noah. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten picked up by a team yet, I'll be honest this year. Yeah.
Wasn't he on the Grizzlies last?
Yeah, he got a wet boy last year. He deserved it. He was a good player. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked up if somebody goes down for big man depth, a la Portland, if Nurkic doesn't look great and they want to move on from Whiteside. Or Collins, yeah. He could be an option. Anyway, on our 6th man, we're giving over to Zach LaVine.
It pains me. It pains me to put him here, but he's better than Kurt Hinrich.
Yeah. Argument to be made. And then our head coach, of course, would have to be Tom Thibodeau. The only coach who actually won games with the Bulls.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I want to reverse sweep this a little bit here because this is...
Go ahead.
Tom Thibodeau, in my mind, was the only head coach you could choose. He coached for the most years on the team.
Well, we had 3.
Right. He coached for the most years. He had the most success on this team.
We got the furthest under him. We could have went to a championship with him.
Correct.
Like, we came this close. It was just LeBron James each and every time.
Yeah.
Each and every time.
You know what? For as much shit as I want to give Tom Thibodeau for being the coach that ran our players into the ground and perhaps haphazardly helped Derrick Rose's career get off track, hurt Jimmy Butler's knees, ran Luol Deng into the ground, basically murdered Joakim Noah's future career. You know, all these players we're talking about, basically Tom Thibodeau is the cause and, benefactor of their early career, points, and I love that. Like, but at the same time, I hate him.
His first year with the Bulls,
I'm conflicted on it. That's
his first year with the Bulls, we went from 2 500 seasons with Vinny Del Negro.
Oh, Vinny.
We were 500, 41 and 41 for 2 straight years. Lost in the first round. We brought the first year on Vinny, though, we brought that Celtics team to 7 games.
Great series.
As an 8 seed.
Not this decade, but great series.
Celtics, you don't want to see us in the first round.
That's sort of our jam.
We'll beat you. Rondo doesn't go down, we beat you. We almost beat you in 2008 as well.
That 08 series, I know this is not this decade.
09, but
It's not this decade, but that was one of the best first-round series of all time.
That was the Derrick Rose blocking Rondo, and then Rondo getting D. Rose.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. But my point being, Tom Thibodeau steps in, first year of the decade, 10-11. Oh, we're just going to the Eastern Conference Finals. No big deal.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose is going to win MVP that year. Tom Thibodeau is going to be Coach of the Year that year. Gar Forman, Executive of the Year, probably the only one of those that he'll ever have. And just how we did it of the Pacers, not a problem. The Hawks, okay, that Hawks team was better.
They were the Spurs of the East.
And that was Budenholzer, was that Budenholzer's team?
I believe so.
In 10 or 11? I am going to look it up. But, okay, brought us to 6 games. But you know what? We didn't get to 7. And then Miami. I remember being so hyped going into that Miami series of this is our time. LeBron ain't getting past us.
Yep.
And then the big 3 just roasted
I take it back.
5-1.
It was Larry Drew.
Oh, it was Larry Drew. Okay.
All apologies out there, Larry Drew. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah. No, I think that was a hell of a year for us. Oh, that was
Was that our best chance? Do you think that's, looking back, I'll say even looking into the future, is that going to be our best chance for a long while to get to the finals that year?
It looks like it right now.
No, but I mean, if you would even look into the crystal ball with how things are going right now, we might be looking at that for a while. It's man, that was our chance. MVP Derrick Rose.
We're a couple pieces away from that. I mean, that's the thing. That team took such a step, and the whole reason why it took that step was because you got a head coach in there with amazing experience. Tom Thibodeau came from the guy who implemented or was part of the implementation of that Boston Celtics defense.
Yeah.
And he earned his money. Good Lord, was our defense spectacular. We were smothering. We cut people off. Absolutely incredible. I mean, you had probably the most low-scoring games in the NBA in a year that year as well. Because, how many points can Derrick Rose score? Well, that's half the Bulls' offense. And you know what? It was a nail-biter every game. It was a fun year. But, I did not expect us to be that good. Oh, my God.
Well, and here's the thing, and this is why this brings me to the power forward position.
Yep.
Yes, you and I settled on Paul Gasol.
Yes.
But I feel like power forward is the hardest position to come up with who you want to put in this all-decade team.
I'll agree.
Because you could put Paul Gasol. Many of the other websites, other Chicago Bulls blogs that everyone's doing this time of year want to put Taj Gibson there.
Tajay.
You could put Carlos Boozer there. You could put Nico Mirotic there.
Carlos Boozer.
Played good.
Favorite memory of Carlos Boozer?
Getting hurt. Didn't he trip over groceries? Was that it? And he got hurt at home?
No, I was going to say his fist bump through. Not trying to ref. He was celebrating and just did one of these. And as he was turning, just right into a ref. And it was just a moment. And you just saw he was so happy, so happy. And he's like, oh no. As he turns.
I completely forgot that fucking happened.
Oh yeah. That's Boozer right there.
Now I'm going to look it up on YouTube.
That's Boozer. That was I think he was a fantastic player. See, here's the thing. Taj Gibson's the ultimate glue guy. He's the team player of team players. He was never fantastic offensively. He's never fantastic defensively. He's just a guy who can kind of do all the little things to help your team win games. Yep.
Just as it happened. And immediately he's like, dude, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
It was definitely not intentional, but it was a great play nonetheless. I think the thing...
And Taj has one of the greatest moments in Bulls history. One of the greatest dunks, I'll say, of the decade.
Yeah. And I just don't think here's my problem. Taj can never be the guy.
Yeah.
He always has to do that stupid power bounce, which the double-handed dribble.
You never go down with it.
You throw to the low post, and Taj gets the ball up here, and he's like, finish? No. We're bringing it down with 2 hands, or we're bringing it up with 2 hands. I hate him.
Boys and girls, never go down to the ankles. Don't go down to the knees. You get the ball in the post, you go right up.
Just finish. That's all you need to do. But he couldn't. That wasn't Taj's game, and that's fine. But no, I mean, I love Taj. He was a great player. Boozer, again, good player, offensive, just a bit of a slouch on the defensive end in a lot of moments, and that's why I think I had to go, in a different direction there.
Because the Bulls, Boozer was, let's see, set, and I'm going points and rebounds because he's a big man. 17-9, 15-8, 16-9, and then 13-8. Those were his big numbers with the Bulls before he finished off with that last year in LA. But I mean, if you look just that whole time, a 15-9-2 guy who shoots 49% from the field. That's what Boozer was. And I feel like there are some people out there that may say that Boozer deserves to be on this.
49% from the field's pretty shit.
For a big man.
When you don't shoot threes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I mean, 3-pointers, he shot literally 0 threes.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to look up where's Paul's numbers.
He has a sweet mid-range
pulled
game.
Up. I thought I had Paul's numbers pulled up, or was that last night?
Let's take a look. Pau Gasol. There we go. So in Chicago, Gasol, 2 years, both years All-Star, which is important. In the 14-15 season, he was putting up 18, 12, and 3 on amazing splits. What was this? Sorry, I moved my fucking cursor a little. 49, 46, and I know he wasn't taking many threes at all. And 80% from the line.
Yeah, he was shooting 38 over those 2 years, 38% from 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that
on a 3 game, at best. So
the big thing for me with Paul Gasol, and I originally was the Taj Gibson guy. I'm like, oh, it's Taj. It's got to be Taj. Taj is our guy.
Paul does everything.
Well, it's the rebounding numbers.
And the blocks.
That's what he brought to us. 2 blocks a game. Averaging 2 blocks a game over those 2 years. Yeah. And it just makes me laugh because of how mad I was. I still remember it to this day.
Trying to move on from Paul before.
It was during the 2015-2016 season because I remember vividly because it was my first job out of college.
Yep.
And the students I were teaching, the 7th graders, were huge Bulls fans.
Yep.
And they knew I was a huge Bulls fan. They're like, Mr. Widmer, are we gonna move on from Paul that day? Are we gonna move on from Paul tomorrow? And I'm like, cross your fingers, guys. Cross your fingers that we move on from Paul by the next one. And then I was so livid when we literally were like, we're just gonna let him walk. We're not gonna try to get anything for Paul Gasol. It was just one of those things where it's like you love the player, but at the time, it was like I feel like we should have got something for him. Everything else, I was like. I feel like the
only asterisk that you could make
is if you power forward or
is if you wanted to pretend Luol Deng played power forward in Chicago, even when he did not. He played power forward going forward in Miami, and Cleveland. But that's one of those things where if he was 6'9", he was a big guy. You could have moved him to the 4. You could have put Jimmy at the 3. You could have put Zach at the 2. That's the only option I will accept as an alternate roster.
The only reason I wouldn't, though, is because he didn't play at the 3 for us.
He played at the 3, not the 4.
Oh, yeah. He didn't play at the 4 for us, is what I meant to say. Now, if there were games where it was like, if on like not Bleacher Report, on Basketball Reference, if it said like,
he split time in rotations. He split time in rotations. But it was mostly never 100% because we had the guys like Taj Gibson out there playing with us.
We had Boozer and Taj, where we had Boozer, who was the veteran, Taj was
the younger kid,
the young kid,
out of USC,
and it was like we never really needed him to play the 4. To me, though, would have
been perfect going forward now.
Yeah,
if you got a young guy like Luol Deng coming in the league, a 19-year-old who's got 6'9", and he's the perfect 4.
Yeah,
that's how much the NBA has changed in the last decade.
Well coached too,
the perfect 4 going forward, but not right now. When he came in the league, that was not the time.
Also, I mean, I say well coached because of where he came from, college. I mean, being a Duke kid.
Duke K.
Always well coached with Coach K, so getting that. And he wasn't even, coming into this decade, it wasn't even like he was a rookie. When this decade started, he was, fifth year in the league? Yeah, it was 25 coming in to 2010. We had already had him for about
6 years?
5 or 6 years. But to me, the only 3 positions that are locks that are like no discussion, this is either point guard, center, and coach.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3. Like, name another center not named Brian Scalabrine that you would want to put at the 5 for the all-decade team.
I mean, if I'm being 100% serious, I can't. And that's the problem. Mm-hmm. I literally can't name another. I mean, Pau Gasol-ish, but no, he's not.
I mean, he played the 5 his second year.
Yeah. But no, I mean, there's not another center who we had this decade who was as impactful as Joakim Noah.
Just for the memes, I'll let you debate Brian Scalabrine if you want, just because he's the White Mamba.
Not even a little.
But like, other than that, like, Jimmy Butler was going to be on this team. I mean, the big question is, like, because of Jimmy Butler, that's why Zach gets moved to the 6.
Yep.
And why Zach isn't even a 3. I'm trying to think anyone else we got, because like Ronnie Brewer was good, but he was never going to make this team. Do you think Kyle Korver deserves
some credit?
Because here's the thing with Kyle Korver.
I mean, he was hot sauce.
That's one.
He was the OG hot sauce.
He was so good at making threes that Stacey King gave him a nickname. And to me, he was an integral part of that Derrick Rose run team in the playoffs of like, without him, we don't have a guy that can shoot and make threes.
Yeah.
Because Derrick was not making threes early on.
No.
Derrick developed a three-point shot.
Derrick shooting threes was terrifying.
He perfected it in Minnesota, but
the fact that people bid on his threes were hilarious, so he blew by him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no. Lots of love to Korver, all the credit, but no, I would not put him on this list. He was good, but not that good, you know?
Damn, I was going to say he made an all-star team, but that was not with us.
That was with the Hawks.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate team. But
Korver only played 2 years with us.
That's why I got to give it to Jimmy. I mean, he played basically 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 with the Bulls. And we watched him grow from like this tough kid basically into someone who is a do-it-all, the best work ethic in the NBA outside of like Kobe Bryant, level players. And he's just gotten better year over year over year, and he's continued to do so. I will argue to this day he's one of the best floor raisers in the NBA. If you got a team full of young talent, like that's why Miami's been the perfect fit for him. He has the right work ethic. He gets the guys around him to be better than they are on their own. And no, he's been amazing for the Bulls, and I miss him desperately. So I'm always happy to follow him. Like whatever team he goes to, I'll always root for Jimmy. But it's one of those situations where we got the most out of him, but we also took so many minutes from his knees. All the minutes from his
playing
knees.
Under Tom Thibodeau, that'll do.
He led the league in, I think he was in the top 5 in minutes in the 13-14, 14-15 seasons. He had 38.7 minutes per game in each of those seasons, which is just insane. Absolutely insane, considering now players are playing like, I'll give you 30. You know, if you're an all-star, maybe 32, 33. 38 minutes a game. That man was out there working. So yeah, no, that's to me why Jimmy gets it over Zach is work ethic and then the team results.
Now
and he's got all-stars.
The thing I'll throw in over
asterisk just for funsies, not even like
the thing I'll throw in for Jimmy, because this didn't play anything into me. It all came down to who was the better player.
Yeah.
And Jimmy, obviously, to me, if you had to make me pick Bulls Jimmy or Zach. Or Bulls Zach.
Yep.
I'm going with Bulls Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
But how much do you think, or should it, have a kind of black spot on the reputation here of how time ended with Jimmy? Where it was like, D-Wade comes in, I'm going to say D-Wade got in his head.
D-Wade got in his head, I'll agree to that.
Because Jimmy wasn't the Jimmy that we saw.
Already, apparently.
Yeah, Jimmy wasn't the Jimmy we saw until D-Wade came in and kind of influenced him.
Jimmy had less of an ego before Dwayne Wade.
True.
Jimmy was always Jimmy. I think his ego
but
his
we never heard like fights with the coach, calls out the coach, like not anything to where it's like,
who was our
you've
coach?
Got a guy like Rajon Rondo that's like, hey, you guys are fucking wrong. Like, stop bashing the young kids for they're fucking working.
Who was our coach?
I get it was Fred Hoiberg, but it's like you got a young coach. Fred wasn't bad. Fred takes a bad rap for no reason.
Well, for a lot of reasons, not for no reason.
I mean, first, if the front
office is the problem.
Gotta put him in a better situation.
That's where Jimmy's relationship instantly was hurt. Remember this shit coming out about the whole, like, they're trying to blackball him into signing a lower deal, or we're not going to play him and we're going to tank his value. And, like, Tom had to fight, for him, basically, to make sure that he could get that time still.
Tom's like, so I can fucking win games here.
Seriously. The front office just absolutely, like, pure, like, filtered evil. And I don't understand, like, how anyone can hold it against Jimmy Butler that he wanted to leave and he wanted to get out. That's for me. He was fighting with the front office for years. There's no problem. He didn't get along with the head coach because guess what? The head coach is like, we're going to play my style of basketball. Well, your best player doesn't play that style. Doesn't matter playing my style. You don't have the supporting cast to play that style. Doesn't matter playing my style. But your team is now old, slow, and doesn't matter playing my style. Shooting threes. And I was like, does anybody else not see that this is a problem?
With me when it comes to, and I know it's a different debate, but it's important because this was our decade. This happened during this decade for the Bulls.
Yep.
With me, I feel like Fred was wrong place, wrong time.
Oh, yeah. If you put Fred on the team now, it'd be different.
It was, Fred wasn't a problem. And I don't even think we're going to play my style is a problem because the whole, like, we knew we were going to enter a rebuild and we just didn't push the button. We decided, hey, let's bring in D-Wade. Let's bring in Rondo. Let's make a run for the 8th seed rather than saying, no, we're not going to sign those guys. We are going to trade Jimmy. We're getting rid of him, and now I'm glad where we did trade Jimmy because it was like we wouldn't have Chris Dunn or Lauri Markkanen or Zach LaVine if we didn't make the deal we did. But I feel like it was more for the younger guys of like, hey, Jimmy, I know you're here, you want to win, but do I cater to you? And then when you're done, okay, now I implement my system, and then I'm putting the guys who were already here. They had to do what we were doing, and now they have to try to learn my system rather than, hey, I know it doesn't fit you, but I got to retrofit these young guys for where we're going in the future because I feel like the Bulls maybe were thinking that, hey, is Jimmy not a part of the future and just didn't pull the trigger soon enough.
Yeah, the young guys like Denzel Valentine, Doug McDermott, Cam Payne, Isaiah Cannon, Paul Zipser.
We went ahead and we drafted. We
Anthony
went out
Moreau,
and traded for Doug McDermott
Michael
for
Carter
a reason.
Williams, Joffrey Levine, R.J. Hunter, Taj, Robin Lopez, Cristiano Felicio. Yeah, no. None of those guys are worth No.
I think Doug McDermott could have worked in Fred's system.
I agree.
Could he have been the guy? No, but he would have.
Denzel, and Nico were fine. But that's three guys who combined played about, I think Nico played 70, Denzel played 57, and Doug played 44. Yeah. So you got almost half a season you got just over half a season out of two of those guys. But outside of that, nobody else in that team matters. Yeah. Like, not even a little bit of matters. Just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Even for those
Fred's
little
situation,
guys,
you got to know that, like, if we're winning games, right now it's off the back of the fact that we're limping by on amazing defense from Rajon Rondo and Jimmy Butler and getting good looks from Dwayne Wade when he has it, any given night. Not every night because he wasn't given it every night. But, like, we were still a top 10 defense in the league at that point. I think we were top 5 even. We were six defense in the league in points per game. And, like, that's what got us there. That's what got us to the playoffs was, I will agree, Rondo became the ultimate locker room guy. He went from locker room cancer on the Mavs to incredible locker room guy for the Bulls. And I will give him credit for trying to be the professional in the room and be like, you got, like, Dwayne and Jimmy, just shut the hell up. You guys are being ridiculous. Yeah. Young guys, we need you to win games. I don't care how bad you are. We're going to get better kind of thing. And that worked, and they got to the playoffs. And
we would have beat the Celtics. If
2 wins over the Celtics with Rajon Rondo. No wins over the Celtics without Rajon Rondo.
When we jumped out 2-0, I was like, could it happen?
Oh, could it the shit out of the Celtics. If you look back at our videos during that time,
could it happen?
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, I mean, the whole thing in my mind is, at the end of the day, I look at Jimmy's time in Chicago, and I'm happy about it. And the time that he left, I'm sad that he left, but I'm happy he moved on. Yeah. It's one of those situations where I don't hold any grudge against him because of the way that last year ended.
It's also the catch-22. I think the catch-22 is the right phrase I'm using here. We could say that the Bulls didn't move on soon enough from Jimmy, But then it's like, well, what deal would we have gotten? And would it have been better than the one we did get on draft night?
Yeah.
Where we were able to draft Lowry. We were able to get Zach. We got Chris Dunn, which...
The fact we had to give up the 15th pick?
It was Justin Patton.
Yeah, it was an awful pick by the Timberwolves. But that doesn't matter because you look at the guys who were taken later. And there were a lot of talented players.
So you're saying we just shouldn't have...
I don't understand why we had to do a swap. I think we should have got the 7th outright from them for that value.
Now, let me see. The only thing I can think of is I'm going to look at the 16 and the 18 drafts to see where Minnesota's pick was. Because if they didn't make a first round, so Chris Dunn was the year before.
Right, because Tom Thibodeau refused to play him.
So they had that one. Did they have their 18th pick? Because if they didn't have their 18th pick, then they would have needed a 17th pick because of I think it's a stupid rule. Let's see. They did not. So they had to... Let's see. Was this a draft night trade?
Dun, dun, dun.
February of 2015. So, yeah.
That's not draft night.
I'm sorry. June 30th. So it was a draft night trade. The reason why we had to do the pick swap is because... They didn't have their 2018 pick. 2018 pick? They must not have, because the pick that they had came from Oklahoma City in the Ricky Rubio trade. Basically, where Utah got Ricky Rubio, and then they got a lottery-protected OKC pick from the Utah Jazz.
Yeah. Right.
So that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, looking back. I know it was, 3 years ago?
Yep. It seems like decades ago.
So, I mean, if we were able to do it and not have to give up that pick, I agree. I would have loved to have both of them. But the only thing I can think of is, because what's it called? The Stephian rule? The Stevian rule? Stevian rule. Where if they didn't have their pick, then they couldn't have traded one.
Yeah. No, I got you. Anyway, piece of shit, basically, is what we're saying going out of there. Because... I'm happy with them making that move, and I'm happy. Well,
I found it.
Oh, you found it?
They gave up their first rounder that year to the Hawks for Adrian Payne. Remember him from Michigan State?
I do.
Yeah.
That was.
It was basically the trade was Minnesota acquired Adrian Payne. The Atlanta Hawks got a lottery-protected 2018 first-round pick in February of 2015.
And this is why you don't give front office rights to Tom Thibodeau. No.
He was with us in 2015, wasn't he?
No, I'm saying for this deal.
Oh, yeah.
This deal going through, the Jimmy Butler deal.
Yeah.
It's like, no, don't.
Yeah, so that's why we had to flip, because they gave theirs to the Hawks.
Shouldn't have done that. Anyway. No, Jimmy Butler's clearly better than Zach LaVine. It's not even close. And that's why he's on the bench.
A couple people are going to be upset Kurt Heinrich didn't make the team, but when Zach LaVine...
He's the real six man. If I'm honest, he's got one tackle of LeBron James, and that counts.
Well, that's more heart than Zach's ever shown. He's the true six-man position.
Yeah, that's more heart than Zach LaVine's ever shown in his career. So I'd be down for that. Okay. If it was a personal choice, I'd put Captain Kirk. But I understand Zach LaVine's a good basketball player. He can score real good, but that's about it. So I mean, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Because the hardcore Bulls family is like, Kirk earned it, man. He's got the years in. He's got the blood, the sweat, and the tears.
That's the thing. Can you put anyone from the tail end of the Bulls because they haven't earned it? They haven't put their time in. They haven't punched that time card.
We gave 2 years for Paul Gasol. So, I mean, technically, if you wanted, Lowry is on his third year in the NBA. Zach's on his third year with the Bulls, right? Yeah, this is year 3. I think so. Yeah, because injury. Yeah. So, it's one of those situations where... Yes, they have 2 years of proof, and you could give it to them if you wanted to. I don't think anyone on this team deserves to be in the All-Decade team. I think Zach's had a great stat year last year, but it's hollow. He didn't play defense. He didn't win games. So I think that's the big thing. I want to give it to the guys who grinded out games. I want to give it to that first half of the decade team. Basically, my decade team stopped in 2016.
Well, and here's the problem.
Yeah.
That team actually had a head coach.
They did.
They actually had a head coach that knew what he was doing, and we didn't call Tom Thibodeau incompetent.
Yep. He's not a front office guy. We know that. We learned that. But thanks, Timberwolves, for eating that bullet. But it's one of those situations where it was a changing of the guard, and then Gar and Pax decided to not change their roster over in time, and then they fucked up, and they fucked up again, and they fucked up again, and that's how we are as a team right now. We're held captive by our front office.
Yeah.
So our all-decade team basically is, the 2000 to 2000 or the 2010 to 2015 Bulls team, and just sort of stops there. We got 5 years of let's not ask questions.
Yeah.
Putting that nicely.
Last thing I want to mention, because I know this segment's running kind of long.
Yeah.
One guy we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis. Is it just because
one half of the 1-2 punch?
One half of the 1-2 punch. Is it just because of what position he played? Like, you can't put him at the 5
It's a small ball 5.
Joe's already got that one. Can't put him at the 4 because even if we didn't go Paul, it would have been Boozer. If we didn't go Boozer, it would have been Nico. If it wasn't Nico, it would have been Taj. There's somebody going to be ahead of him no matter how you kind of split the bill.
Yeah, I love Bobby Portis' offensive game, but he's a small ball 5, and that's his best position. And I was happy for him in Washington. I think he's struggled in New York because they don't have an offensive system, but he's still a good, fun player.
And then they fired their head coach. So
yeah, well. Maybe Bobby gave him the crazy eyes. Put Fizdale off. I don't know. I love Bobby, but he's not a top player. It is what it is. But
yeah, he was the only one that I'm like, we haven't mentioned. I just want to mention his
1-2
name.
punch, baby. Him and Nico, they've got memories there. We'll talk about that later.
And both of them now, not on the Bulls.
Yep. But yeah, I think that wraps up.
That's everything.
I think the Bulls team's super clear. As far as our decade goes, I don't feel like there's a lot of controversy.
I mean, it's a little bit more conversation than the Bears, though. The Bears is Jay Cutler, then 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 Rex Grossman.
Are you quoting me on that?
Not even Rex Grossman, because he wasn't even on the Bears. I just wanted to say Rex Grossman.
It was basically just Jay Cutler, Matt Forte. Oh, God, what was his name?
Position?
Wide receiver, and I loved him. And he came from Denver, and he went to Miami.
Senzenbacher?
No.
Oh, Marshall. Brandon Marshall.
Yeah. Basically, you take that team of the Bears. I'm just taking the best players from that team. And then could you imagine half of that offense with the defense we've got now? Game over. Anyway, that'll do it for this segment. Let us know if you have any different opinions on the Bulls team of the decade. I mean, you'd be wrong, but we want to hear your opinions. And I think there's a couple guys who do make a legit case. As much as I shit talk Zach LaVine, I know he's a good basketball player. I just, Captain Kirk. Childhood hero at times, and the fact that he tackled LeBron James is infinitely memeable.
And he is the one player that the fans will always love.
Oh, absolutely.
In Chicago.
He could be a head coach someday.
Yeah.
Easily.
Even
he could be
an assistant coach
soon, yeah. I wonder what he's doing. What is Captain Kirk up to? That's how we're going to
Let's Wikipedia it.
Let's figure out where Kirk Heinrich is.
Kurt Heinrich.
Is he coaching? Is he...
His birthday's coming up.
Oh.
He's a January 2nd kid.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Kurt.
Happy birthday, Kurt.
Honorary 7th man.
That's going to be what? Are we going to be recording that day? I don't know. He is currently returned to Atlanta. I don't think international career. That was a while ago. I do not have an update. All right.
Maybe
that was 2008
relaxing.
Was the last time we heard anything, but he's not coaching or anything.
Maybe he's just relaxing. Maybe he's just chilling. I'd love to know.
Playing some b-ball outside of school with a couple of guys who are up to no good.
And this will be our last segment of the day for Superfans, and it's kind of an exciting one.
I don't even know how long this is going to go, but I'm excited for it.
I don't know. It might be super short, to be honest with you. Before we get started, though, I want to shout out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. You want to be part of our community even more. You want to get involved. $1 tier gets you into our Discord, 24/7 access to us and that super tight-knit community. And then at the $10 tier, you can jump in on a show with us, like Sam was earlier today. And ton of fun, Ricky. But this last topic is kind of a fun one, but also is a head scratcher as a Chicago fan, because we start off as like most memorable sports moments of the 2010s Chicago.
I was thinking about it, and here's what I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Besides for two teams in Chicago sports, for the Cubs.
Yep.
All of our memories of the decade, it's 2016.
1 year.
Every other year doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
But even the run that the Cubs went on from 2015 to 2017.
The loss to the Mets in the NLCS.
Loss to the Mets, then winning the World Series. Yeah. How we won the World Series.
That whole thing is just
we could have went to 3 straight World Series. True. Who knows if we would have won them all. Then you have the Blackhawks where 2 Stanley Cups for sure.
Yeah.
They also had a streak of 3 Cup Western Conference finals.
Yep.
Lost to the Kings in the 13-14 season. Here's the question with the Hawks.
Yeah.
Do you count the first title? Because it was the 09-010. Nope. Technically, the Cup win happened in 2010.
But so the season itself, ooh, that's a toughie.
That's the only thing. Like, technically,
for basketball, we're counting the 10-11 seasons.
Because we didn't do it for basketball. The only reason I thought we didn't do it for the all-decade team was it's way too hard to figure out, well, were they on the team? Did they get traded? Their stats aren't the same because half their stats were in 09. I'm fine with disregarding this one because half of that season happened in 2009.
Yeah, I think hockey and basketball are very similar as far as their season play out.
But that's an interesting one.
Yep. So technically they did squeeze another championship in this decade.
Yeah, 2 to 3 depending on how you want to look at it.
But the season itself was the 9-10.
The rest of the teams, the Bears, the Bulls, the Sox, the complete opposite. Nothing but despair. Nothing but because I was looking at this.
We got close as the Bears.
Do you remember what happened in 2010? Do I need to reopen that wound?
I know what happened in 2010. That's why I said we got close. And I stopped talking.
I was thinking about it. It's like, man, besides for 2 of our sports teams, this isn't a happy segment. This is kind of like
that's the problem.
A frustrating segment of what could have been in Chicago sports.
There's still moments, like, as a Bulls fan, I will never forget. And Stacey King, thank you for this. You are a legend in the front, in the commentator section, whatever, commentator.
Yeah.
He is one hell of a color guy. Didn't you get the memo?
Yes.
Derrick Rose goes upstairs.
Goran Dragic, did you not get the memo?
Derrick Rose goes upstairs. That's one of my favorite Bulls highlights of all time.
Also, we mentioned
because it goes
hot
with
sauce.
It. Hot Sauce Kyle Korver was a great call, but that one gets used a lot. The Derrick Rose one was just Derrick Rose literally floating upwards. It was just incredible, and that was one of those moments. Unfortunately, to go with that, you also have the Derrick Rose injury against Philadelphia in the playoffs. That's one of the moments that I will never forget as a Chicago sports fan. That was a a team-changing moment because that changed the franchise forever.
Yeah.
We were never the same.
I feel like the Bulls had more moments to where it was like, yes, we never got there.
Yeah.
Yes, the big moment is the Derrick Rose injury.
Yeah.
And then that just tainting the entire decade. You said, the all Bulls team stopped.
It's never going to be the same.
Year.
Never going to be the same.
But even we mentioned with the Bulls in the last segment, the bringing the Celtics to 7 games with D Rose. Then almost beating the Celtics with Rajon Rondo.
That was a great
winning
moment.
game 1, game 2, and we're feeling
Carlos Boozer nut punch.
Oh, the nut punch.
Memorable moments. These are all memorable moments for the Bulls.
Taj Gibson, his poster over I think it was, he dunked in the playoffs over Chris Bosh. And we were all excited.
And LeBron James, of course, getting tackled by Kirk Heinrich.
Yeah,
we mentioned all these things earlier because we were literally thinking about trying to figure out how this is going to work out for this segment. And we list off a bunch of good ones. I want to give them a shout in case you didn't catch out that first segment. But the Bulls, it's frustrating because we peaked so hard so early in this decade, and really a lot of our hopes and dreams kind of rode on Derrick Rose's back, and unfortunately that man can't land. So
God, and also in Chicago, Stacey King line, like you mentioned Stacey King, this is just 1 year. 1 year, I'm looking at some of the great lines that he had.
Yeah.
2012, he had the he was late getting over there, but was early enough for the poster.
Yeah.
Neil Funk, does anyone know how to post videos to Facebook?
Yeah.
And then my all-time favorite, I want to make sure that I get it right, is this computer scrolls fast enough. I didn't come for the massage, Dave. I came for the facial. One of the best lines from Stacey King in Chicago. And I know I got into an argument with Brandon about this because Brandon doesn't like Stacey King.
How do you not like Stacey King?
That was my thought.
Here's my thing is great color guys paint pictures and make
Hawk for the Sox.
They make the moment more than it is. And that's what I think it is I will have a forever memory in my head of specific plays. I can picture, we were listening back to one of our earliest segments we recorded, and Crabtree Pulls free.
I think that was this decade, I think.
That was the Texas Tech game.
Yes, it was.
And it was insane. And that moment, like, I hear that voice in my head, and I can picture the play perfectly. Like, we're still clear in my head.
I think we were hanging out watching that game.
We were.
Yeah.
I know we were because we were in basement.
Okay, God, no, that was 2008. So that was
damn, that's so old. Very old. Anyway,
that's Brent Musburger, his voice that you'll always imitate.
And that's the thing. Like, I think that just great commentators lock in those moments and they paint a better picture than you could ever. Like, on your own, I'm like, Michael Crabtree scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
But then when you see him rip free of his defender and just tiptoe that. Jam the computer.
Jam it into the monitor.
Jam the monitor.
Did you hurt your finger there?
No, okay. Just making sure I didn't hurt it. And he goes for a touchdown. It was an insane play, and it was the highest stakes possible for that game. It was insane. Like, that's Stacey King and the Bulls. He does a lot of lifting for this Bulls team. Like, let's be honest, we've had some down years, and he's always given it. And
he's the entertainment.
He is. He's half the reason to show up to those games. We had the best mascot in sports for a while.
Benny the Bull.
Benny the Bull, the guy in the Bull would be my thing.
The original Benny.
He moved on.
Yeah, the original
unfortunately.
Benny.
Our new one's okay. He's not bad, but he doesn't hold a candle. Anyway, the Bulls. It's been a mixed bag. We've had our highlights. We've had the lowest of lows with Derrick Rose's injuries. And I think that kind of paints the decade as is for this Bulls team. We're really just hoping towards something in the future.
The TNT streak. You don't want to play the Bulls on TNT primetime, baby.
It's still alive, isn't it?
Is it? No, I thought it killed last year. I don't think the Warriors killed it.
On TNT. Check it. You might be right.
Warriors TNT win streak. It was a home. Yeah, it was the home Bulls team.
We won 20 straight.
Oh, fuck the Tribune. Like, I get it. I like these papers. I'll tell you this. This is a quick aside.
Yep.
You're being demolished by the online world. You want to know how you don't get me to read your paper? By making me pay for the article. Yeah. Because guess what? I ain't gonna pay for it. The Bulls have won 16 straight regular season games.
We got to 20 straight in April 17th of 2017. So,
okay. I thought it came to an end, but still,
I know they didn't book us for any last year.
Hey, you don't want to play the Bulls. Like, we played the Warriors on TNT, and it was like, oh man, this is where it comes to the end. Holy shit, we beat the Warriors?
Yeah,
what's going on? Like, what is this? So I mean, yeah, I would say that would be a moment. The TNT home games. I'm trying to think.
That's a series of moments, though.
Yeah, but I mean, just the collection as a whole.
Yep.
With the Chicago Bears, trying to think of, is there any moment that comes to your mind besides because the two that I think of are not great moments.
Double doink. Let's just get out of the way. Double doink.
The double doink.
Just get out of the way.
Like, that comes to mind, and then also Jay Cutler on a bike.
Yep.
Jay Cutler riding that exercise bike. Is he going to get back into the game?
Yep.
Like, otherwise the Bears have had very mediocre seasons before
Chris Conte
2017.
Forgetting that he's playing defense in the backfield against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
That one happened.
The Mark Trestman days.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. The Bears are not happy moments, really. That's not really our thing. You're right.
Yeah.
We were a good team. We had great defenses. We've had good offenses. Couldn't really put it all together at once, and that's led to a lot of disappointing memories.
And then, even the White Sox, where it was like,
just take it. This is your moment, Ricky.
Well, no, I mean, first off, the thing that I think that the Sox and the Bulls have in common is what you were talking about. Well, not just that. Maybe that's because of this. But the announcer thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because up until, what was it? Was last season his last season, Hawk?
No. I think last season he was doing part-time at best.
And now he's officially done.
He might have been officially done last year and doing part-time the year before.
Because I know he did some home games the one year where it was he only did the home games, didn't go on the road, but he's the voice with the Sox, where it was even though you look at 2010 to now, to where it's not making the playoffs, Like the best season are like, oh yeah, we finished in 2010 and 2012, second in the AL Central. It's really like, to me, it was really Hawk Harrelson that made some of the great moments. Like we did a video for it when we were way back, the Onside Kick channel. Philip Humber, Dave. Now Philip Humber in a video, young Ricky Widmer, 7 years ago? So that would have been 22-year-old Ricky Widmer.
He retired from broadcasting on September 24th, 2018.
Okay, so it was not this past season, but the year before. The 62-100 season.
Yeah, after calling his final game, a 6-1 loss to the Cubs in the Crosstown Classic.
I would have liked him to go out on a win.
Yeah, we won the cup, I think.
Yeah, but
that was the thing. We won the thing that didn't matter.
The cup don't matter.
No, it didn't.
It's the stupidest thing in the entire world.
It's consolation prize.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, like, besides that, it's like you've got in this past decade, you think of, because Burley's perfect game wasn't in this decade, right?
2009. We missed out by
a little bit. Edwin Jackson, was his no-hitter in, let's see, Edwin no-hitter. No, that was with I'm thinking that was not when he was with the White Sox.
Yeah, we traded
Arizona.
for him after his no-hitter.
Wow, 149 pitch, 8 walk no-hitter.
Going the distance.
Not a perfect game, just 8 walks. No wonder you threw 150 pitches in that game. It's hard for me, like I said, besides the Hawks and the Cubs, to find
it's a little hurtful.
Positive, like a lot of positive moments. Like even with any of these teams, though, I'll say the Bears or the Sox.
Yeah.
Does a positive moment come to mind?
Nope. But I'm not a positive person.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like I'm the guy who is going to.
Mm-hmm. I guess the Khalil Mack
I'm heavily
trade.
Criticizing. That's my thing. Is I will always overanalyze, over criticize.
Yeah.
The positives I take for granted a lot of the time. That's one of my flaws. But I'm sure there were positive moments for the Bears. I've had a lot of fun moments watching the Bears, but I can't recall any specific moment where I was like, man, this just feels great. Like, I guess, oh, shit. You know what? No.
Dave, no. What were you going to say?
There were a couple of Matt Forte performances that were like really special, but I don't think there was anything like record-breaking in them. It was just he had great games kind of moments. The Alshon Jeffrey years in Chicago were always entertaining. His pregame, his talks, the media. Jay Cutler in the media, always a fun time. What you got?
I'm not going to bring it up. It's only going to make you cry.
Nope.
There was a certain injury that happened 1 year into this decade.
That was this decade?
Yes, 2011 is when Johnny Knox got injured.
Jesus Christ.
I looked it up just to be like, did that happen this decade or was that 2009? Yeah.
Johnny Knox's
injury. That was the beginning of this decade.
The worst injury I had seen ever.
Until Kevin Ware? Or even up until Kevin Ware? Well, here's the thing.
Johnny Knox, I thought he might have legitimately died.
Yeah, good point.
It was like the Ryan Shazier. Yeah. Like the neck crunch from Shazier was bad because I was like, oh shit, that man could have died.
Just
crumble. I'm like, that guy could have died. Johnny Knox got, like, his whole upper body got rolled into itself and then backwards in a way that just shouldn't happen. And yet that's my fantasy football image for the team, the injured reserve, because that's been my team.
Is that the one is that like the season that started it?
That is the season that started it.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't have my mute on. I was gonna.
Way to be professional.
I was gonna watch it again because
don't watch it.
Why would I
disgusting.
want to?
I feel for the guy, and I'm so happy that he's able to walk again because I didn't expect that to happen. Yeah, and that's when they started going heavy in the slow-mo. By the way, the Kevin Ware thing was the first time I think I saw a high-definition bone on TV, which was the most terrifying thing to see as well. Like, there was no death injury there. That was just like, well, you knew that is disgusting.
You knew that something was wrong when all of a sudden I can't remember if it was a Louisville player or not, but like you just see their reaction of like they cower and run away from what. That was also
the elevated court too.
Yes.
So like he was on the platform at that point, and they're like at head height sitting there.
Yeah.
And you could just see it sticking up.
The bench just needs to stare at it.
Oh
like,
my
that's
God.
what they need.
Yeah, that was high definition, and that was I could not look. It's one of those things. Not a Chicago thing by any means.
Yeah.
The Loyola run.
The what?
Loyola.
Yeah, true. That is a Chicago
thing. It's not Chicago sports officially, but
it's a Chicago sport.
It's a Chicago team.
It's better, but
they had a magical run.
It's better than saying a Northwestern moment.
Goddamn right.
Speaking of that, I love my parents. Oh. I absolutely love my parents because
I sense a butt coming.
No butt.
Oh, okay.
Because you guys all know my hatred for Northwestern.
Yes,
I'm an Illinois
made
fan.
It very clear.
And the thing I hate most about Northwestern is their billboards that you see all over town about Chicago's Big Ten team.
Yeah.
And I said that, and my dad's like, but they're in Evanston. They're not in Chicago. And I was like, my mom's like, yeah, they're in Evanston. I'm like, I love you guys.
Yep,
you guys are great.
That works.
I know they're not in Chicago, but this is what they say, and they false advertise. And it would be like saying their moment, but no, Loyola Chicago is in Chicago.
And they had a magical run. And
I was cheering so hard.
You can never take that away from them. And then what is the nun's name? I can't remember.
Sister Sue? No, not Sister Sue. Sister Joy. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up because that was the whole thing. It's not just the team and the play, but also they kind of had we're doing it for her kind of a moment.
Sister Jean.
Sister Jean.
Sister Jean.
Mean Sister Jean. Yeah. No,
God,
that was
still going. 100 years old. Damn.
Insane.
Could you imagine what it would be like to be... Would you want to get to 100?
Shocked I got this far.
Wow. 30 years old. Shocked I got this far. With some of the dumb shit we did as kids, though, it's surprising that Darwinism didn't take its form in our childhood.
Absolutely. But no, I mean, that's one of the most positive moments. And even though they didn't win... it's a moral victory. Final Four. It's a moral victory. I would take it.
Yeah, didn't they get to the Final Four in that one? Let's see.
I'm trying to think of another team.
Far did you go?
I don't really follow the Chicago Fire at all.
Yeah,
I don't think we're very good.
The big thing about the Fire this decade is the whole logo debacle. Everyone's pissed off about their logo because I guess the team wants to change it, but it looks kind of like a crown now. And everyone's upset because you didn't need to change it, and number two, there's a big majority that hate it because they feel like it's paying homage to the Latin kings.
Oh,
because of the crowns and stuff.
Yep.
And there's actually a petition to get it changed. Yeah, they went to the Final Four.
All right, so yeah, that's our happy basketball moment.
God, that was a great tournament in general. In that same bracket, you had the UMBC. Upset over Virginia.
Man.
Jordan Lyles, the only college kid to get a wet boy on the fast break. Jordan Lyles. But yeah, this decade for Chicago, besides the Cubs and the Blackhawks,
Cubs and Blackhawks,
it's not a lot of big team success. It's just individual moments here and there.
Yep. No, it's true. It's true. We had a couple Pro Bowlers. I mean, on the Bears. Had a couple All-Stars on the Bulls. But, put that thing together.
The White Sox, you got, Alexi Ramirez was good for the White Sox.
We've had a lot of good players.
Jose Abreu in 2014, his Rookie of the Year season. Rookie of the Year and Silver Slugger.
I'm not saying anything bad about him. I just think that, individual success is the best they could hope for.
God, remember Carlos Quentin?
Quentin.
Left field, right? He was left field or left-right corner outfielder, I think.
Did we have Ken Griffey Jr. this decade?
I think you did.
We were on the roll from Jim Thome and Ken Griffey Jr.
Jesus Christ. And I think you had Manny Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Manny being... Because you sold the dreadlocks.
Yeah, we did. We sold the
dreadlocks with the hat.
I'm a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan.
Did you guys have Griffey this decade?
The whole decade's just
blurred
together.
It's so long.
It is.
10 years is a long time to remember.
It's very long. That's the problem.
Especially when I barely remember what I had for dinner yesterday.
Seriously.
No, 2008.
Oh, thank God. There we go.
He was a White Sox in 2008.
So there you go. My White Sox memories, I'm digging all the way back.
So
I go Burley and I go...
at the trade deadline, the day of the trade deadline, the Griffey was traded to the White Sox in 2008 in exchange for pitcher Nick Massett and infielder Danny Ricard.
Great deal.
Ending his 9-year tenure in Cincinnati.
9-year tenure. That's great.
And then as a free agent, he went to the Mariners.
Yep. Got to wrap up his career in style.
Went back to Seattle.
Anyway, I mean, that was just... There's been a bunch of fun moments, but Just nothing massively stands out. Why don't you talk about the Cubs? That's the happiest moment you've got.
The Cubs, it's all
talk about the run. Talk about the whole run up to the series, because that's a magical thing, and I don't want to.
I mean, you got to think of this. In the precursor to this decade was kind of the 07-08 seasons, because we were in high school at the time. Good seasons, making the playoffs, getting bounced in the DS. And then it was just a lot of just mediocre. That's when we moved from Lou Piniella, and we went to what was his fucking name? I think it was Dale Sweavum. I can never say his name right. He used to be with the Brewers, but then we go on to Rick Renteria. Rick Renteria gets the boot because Joe Maddon's on the table. That's how the White Sox got him.
Yep.
And then it's just like start of 2015, boom, something happened. And it's like, holy shit, what run, even though it was just a 3-year run, because we're in a little bit of a lull.
Yep.
But like that 2015 season, how Arrieta came on, comeback, like he was a comeback player of the year, I think, that year. Joe Madden manager of the year. Chris Bryant in his rookie season. That game against the Pirates, Arrieta pitching, like, holy shit, we beat the Pirates. Then we go on and win in the DS against the Cardinals. And it's like, yes, we beat the team. Like, you're not as good as us. Because, let's be honest, St. Louis fans, I don't know how many are watching Superfans, but if you are, I don't like Cardinal fans that much. Because
there's a rivalry there.
I feel like Cardinal fans, and I don't want to say all of them, but most of them are a little stuck up. Kind of like... what's kind of the word I want to use? Kind of like a little uppity baseball-wise, where it's like, we're better than you because we've won so much and we're more elegant than you are. So it was nice to beat them. And then the Mets happened, and I fucking hate Daniel Murphy for that series. Like, he destroyed us.
Yep, single-handedly.
He destroyed us. DeGrom, Syndergaard, like their pitchers.
Yep.
It was not a fun time. But then the next year... that Giant series where we thought we were dead in the water, we win 3-1. The Dodgers in the NLCS, Schwarber hitting the home run on top of the scoreboard.
That
was it not Manny Machado? Oh fuck! What was our backup catcher's name? Started with an M. It was Manny something, and I'm blanking on his name. Hitting a home run, I believe, because that series I wanted to kill you and Sean actually, because we were at your house. And it was one of the games we lost to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And you guys were just laying into me just to be dicks. And I'm like, if I could kill them right here, I could.
Sounds like something we do.
But then we beat the Dodgers. And then the Indians, where it was like, I will never forget where I was when Rajai Davis hit his home run.
Yeah.
You want to know where I was, Dave?
Where were you?
Sitting right here. Right in this spot.
Right there?
Because Sean and I were doing, that was when we did the weekly previews for the NFL.
Yep.
We did those after
Miguel Montero?
Montero, yeah. He hits a fucking bomb in that series that helped save that series.
You had La Stella then, too.
We did. We did have Tom. La Stella! That's a great fan moment for us. Sitting next to, I don't even know his name. The guy who sat next to us at the Cubs Sox game.
Yes.
La Stella!
He's getting plastered and just calling for La Stella.
His girlfriend worried he's going to fucking pour beer on us because he'd be dancing and that cup.
He had the wobbles.
That cup is, it's
went
tilting a little
instead,
bit.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Spilled a little on the people in front of us. But yeah, La Stella.
It's a great time.
But yeah, the Rajai Davis home run, I remember the feeling. I'm like, it's over. It's over. Like, turn the game off. Then I go home, I watch it, and we end up winning. And it's one of those things where it's not, I'm sorry for the jump cut. We're coordinating with Sam for the call in. And he called in. We're going to get to him after we end this real quickly. But I've seen a team win championships. Like I saw the three-peat with the Bulls in the
memories.
90s.
Can never forget.
But there was something different about this one because I never thought in my lifetime. I was hoping that the Cubs
fans have lived and died and not seen a World Series.
Yes, exactly. And it's nice to be able to say I can actually die knowing that I saw a Cubs World Series here in Chicago.
And on that happy note,
Dave's like, we gotta end it on a happy note.
That is where we're gonna end it on a happy note for this decade of Chicago sports. It's been a thrilling run. Lots of ups and downs for teams. Hopefully 2020s hold a better decade for the Bulls and for the White Sox. And they can catch up to some of that championship pride. And the Bears.
For the Bears.
Yeah. Maybe the rest of those teams can all pick it up. Get on that level. Get themselves a rank.
Get on that level.
Anyway, that'll do it for I want to say the fast break, but this is Superfans. Superfans. This is the podcast you all know and love. That guy over there is Ricky Widmer. I'm Dave Oster. We'll catch you next time.